Hello everyone and welcome back to another deck update. This time for the Shaddoll deck I just put out. We knew that Glorious Gallery was going to get some points added later in the month, and that has now come and passed. Unfortunately, I built the original deck considering that we would get 30 points roughly added to the core. That's why I hadn't really tested the triple tack package, because I assumed we wouldn't have points for it. Unfortunately, they instead decided to add 60 by adding 10 to Void Unleashing and 10 to Lev Shaddoll Fusion. First off, I did take this to locals this week. I was going to play Shaddoll regardless, and I did pretty well. It felt good. I went 3-1. I'll talk about the loss a little bit as we go. And I didn't brick a single time with this build, which feels pretty good because Shaddoll's a bricky deck, and I was kind of worried because I did take out 2 of the Mochas, and I had to take out 1 Cartesia just for points. You could swap out 1 Ultimate Slayer for the second Cartesia, and in its place I just put a second Chafu because it's kind of poly. But you know, this felt fine. I didn't really miss the Cartesia. I didn't miss the 2 Mochas, so you know, not a bad place to be. The biggest 2 changes is, 1, we don't have really any points for non-engine. I am consistently impressed by the Impulse package. I really wanted to keep this package in the deck because it's amazing. It wins you the game turn 0 most of the time if you see it. Otherwise it's card filtering, card draw. It's such a good package. And I just wanted to make sure we could keep that. So instead, most of our points came out of the extra deck in kind of superfluous places. We didn't really need 2 copies of App Cologne, but it was nice and it does come up on occasion. I took 1 out. We didn't really need Natis. We replaced it with Skullwagon here, and you also just have all of your other fusions to send. Skullwagon's not as good as Natis, but that's okay. We can make it work. We took out the Book of Eclipses. That part maybe hurts the most. But in its place, we got 3 Ultimate Slayers. We have enough points to swing that. We just can't play the normal suspects for Ultimate Slayer targets in the extra deck. Instead, we are playing, again, all of our fusions you can send off of Ultimate Slayer, which is really cool. It's good synergy with this card in Shaddoll. But also, instead of Aggregator, we're playing Veilon, the Sky Blaster. This is probably our weakest target. It pops a face down card when it's sent, so it's good for taking out back row, and there's a lot more people playing like back row trappy kind of decks in Genesis, so it's not too bad. It served me pretty well. And Packbit is our synchro target of choice. Note that I don't have a Packbit in person. I didn't play this in my build. I was playing Wind Pegasus because I could not find a Packbit on short notice. Don't play the Pegasus. Packbit is much, much better. Because if you don't know this card, when you send it to Grave, you can target a monster your opponent controls, discard a card for effect, and then put that card in the back row. So it is an extra disruption from your Ultimate Slayer that gives you a discard as effect to trigger any of your Shaddoll main deck monsters. So just a very, very good card. Don't use Pegasus unless you don't have the Packbit on hand. Other things of importance. You'll notice that I have the Dinosaur package in the main deck here. That is because in further testing from the initial builds that I showed, I have found that these guys drastically increase the win rate in the main. To the point where I mentioned I went 3-1 earlier. The only reason I lost a match, well, to be fair, it was 0-2, but the only reason I lost the determinative game and didn't have any chance is because I went first and I sided these guys out. If these were in the main deck, my play pattern would have been go first, set up a board, opponent goes second, breaks the board, sets up a half board. Then I could make these guys and win on the crackback, but because I didn't have the UCT package in the main deck, I couldn't crack back well enough, and the opponent just ended up outgrinding us. We ran out of resources just because when you go first, you do tend to eat a good number of your Shaddoll names. during turn 1. That's kind of one of the weaknesses of going first with the deck. But still, like, we would have won if we'd had this in the main. Don't take these guys out, because Genesis games just go long enough that you're gonna want these on turn 3 or 5, even if you don't need them immediately, even if you're going first. This is how you close games. It's incredibly good at it, and it's the only thing that closes a game in the deck outside of like flip Earl and send 3. And then the last thing I do want to mention is there's a lot of people coping on the points saying, well, we can just drop 2 Void Unleashings, run 3 Levs, 1 Void Unleashing. That is insane. It's like objectively wrong in my opinion, because these 2 are the best cards in the deck, and you want to see both of them in your opening hand, and you want to use multiples throughout the course of a couple of turns. It's not even close. It's not up for debate, in my opinion, to reduce the number of these you're playing. And that's unfortunate, because that means that the deck is an 80-point core. This is 60, you have to play the 1 Evil, you have to play 1 Apocalone at least, and you have to play 1 Cartesia at least. That's 80 points. Doesn't leave us with a whole lot, but no, I don't think you can cope by reducing the number of Void Unleashings. It does not feel good. Like I mentioned, I didn't brick a single time on this build. That's because I was always seeing one of these in my opening hand. But yeah, that's it for the major changes. I'm happy with this build, even losing a lot more points than expected. Finding Ultimate Slayer, which has a lot of synergy, especially with Packbit, is the synchro target, is really cool in my opinion. Like, it means that we didn't lose too much. Again, we lost the 1 Cartesia, 2nd Shafu. Kind of, you'll notice that this is more built towards going second. It's not explicitly a going second deck. And if it was explicitly going second, I probably wouldn't have the wake-ups in here. But it's better geared to go second than the Wake Cup build I first showed in my Shaddoll video, because we are playing the Double Evolution Pill package and a 2nd Shaddoll Fusion. And that's fine. Like, it's a good place to be when you can go first or second and feel pretty much the same confidence about winning, and that's how I do with this deck. That's why I don't play a bunch of extra traps and things like that, because I want to be able to win regardless of what the die roll looks like. And with that, we're just going to go do a game against a bot that's mostly just to show off what UCT does in the deck, because I don't feel like I really showed it very well in the initial video, because that wasn't the focus. And then we'll do a game against an actual person and close it off there. Cool. Alright, so for our quote-unquote combo, this is mostly just to show you what the UCT package is doing in the deck. We're playing up against the Orcus bot. It's the bot that puts up the most resistance against what we're actually doing. And, you know, going second, here we go. So, the step 1 to winning with this deck going second is to bait out interaction. We have things like Shaddoll Dragon where we can force interaction out by just destroying and turning off cards so that the opponent has to use things ahead of time. Kind of a weird interaction here is that while Mesherer is immune to trap effects, or the activated effects of traps, it's not immune to the continuous effects of traps. So Fogblade is one of the few traps that actually works on it. Skill Drain also would, things like that. Kind of weird. But yeah, so we are literally just chewing through the opponent's disruptions, and once we're confident they don't have anything left, we use the Shaddoll Fusion to make another Mesherer, and this is where we get access to the Tyranno. We send the Coatlas as the dark target, which allows us to add Evolution Pill. We've got a full enough grave that we can banish the Coatlas plus anything else. Here I banish Mocha to summon out the Tyranno. Now think about this board if we didn't have the Tyranno right now. I think I still tribute out Wendakuru. Oh no, I pop the Wendakuru to flip everything face down, but without it we had 2,800 damage on board. I haven't normal summoned yet, so I could normal summon the Squamata. That's 18. I can use Shafu in the battle phase, but without exactly Tyranno here, or flipping the Earl, which we can't do anymore because they negated both Wendikuru and Mocha. Those are the only two ways we have to flip the Earl or the Dragon. Without being able to do that, because they took care of those, we have no way to end the game. We can just go, okay, go to battle, mesh, walk over something, go El Shaddoll Fusion, walk over something, and then we just have to pass it back into their follow-up. So that's the point of the Tyranno, is that because this is on board, we can go to battle, swing 3 times, do 3,000 damage, clear their board, swing with the mesh, almost get them dead, but not quite. Then we can go El Shafu, which also gives us a reborn off of the mesh because we use it as material. So if we needed to get something with a bigger attack to actually get there, we could bring back like the Squamata instead of Wendikuru. But because the Shek is going to have enough damage here, I bring back the Wendikuru in case something goes wrong somewhere. We have basically full board as well as lethal. So yeah, that's the point of Tyranno. It turns a forced grind game into actual lethal. Cool? Cool. And then for our one game, we are going second into Sharks. Pretty scary deck, not bad by any means. It's also just a fun one. I love that about Genesis. I love that I see Sharks and I'm like, oh, okay, this is 1, an actual game, 2, an actual threat I have to respect, and 3, something I haven't seen in a while. It's great. It's awesome. I love Genesis. And they definitely have full combo because the only thing we can do to try and interrupt them is open a Rescue Ace, and we didn't open a Rescue Ace, so we just have to sit here and watch, but our hand is really good. Remember, don't take out Void Unleashing copies because you really want to see it. If this hand didn't have the Void Unleashing, we're going Kuro, discard Squamata, and then fold if that doesn't work. We do also rip Ultimate Slayer off of the top of our deck, and while Xyz is the worst send we have, we do hit a Super Poly, which could have been disastrous. So it's really solid even if the Sky Blaster's not, like, amazing as far as an Ultimate Slayer target. It's still fine. So they negate our Void Unleashing, which kind of really sucks, but we can still get to a Mesha Rare by discarding the Grista and then banishing everybody. Thankfully, Velon, for the fact that his send effect is okay at best, he's a Dark. That means that we can actually use him as a material to get to Mesha Rare, and the opponent doesn't realize that Mesha Rare is a tower, so he tries to waste his negate there. Cool, that's one fewer thing that we have to force out, so now we can just get to the El Shafu, send a bunch of stuff. Note the misplay on their end didn't end up mattering because we send Genius anyways, and we could just turn off the Levice with the Genius. Doesn't really matter. I also send Ariel to take out some follow-up, just in case something goes wrong. We have double evolution pills, so we summon out UCT. UCT can pop a card. We pop the Kuro in hand just to keep as much damage as possible on board. And note, I was tired, and I messed this up a little bit. I miscounted the damage. We could have activated Mesha Rare and gotten to lethal, but here we're going to be 400 off. That's my bad, but the opponent has like no follow-up left anyways, and they see that we can get to the El Shafu, and Tribute for Wendy, so we have a bunch of stuff for their turn, so they just scoop it up. My bad, missed lethal. Yell at me in the comments if you want, go for it. But that's how a game goes. We went second, break the board, take all of their disruptions, resolve UCT, apply lethal directly to the forehead. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you like the updated deck. Let me know in the comments how you've been coping with the extra points on Shaddoll. Like, is there something I'm missing? Like, some tech you could bring in at 0 points? I'm pretty happy with this, but, you know, always looking to innovate. Cool? Cool. Bye-bye.